G'day folks, and thanks for tuning in. I'll get straight into this video. This video is about the remapping and the new exhaust system being fitted to the 2017 Dmax that I use to go travelling. We'll go through the full fitting of the exhaust system, the ECU remapping in the 2017 Dmax. I'll go over what it is that they said that would do for me before I purchased it new. I've never had a tune before. And then I took a drive up to the Sunshine Coast and back, and we'll go over the differences it made both in driving and the economy. After arriving at Roo Systems Australia, and they're at Banyo in Brisbane, I was given a straight up quote based on what it was I was looking for. They asked me what I was carrying, how heavy the vehicle was, whether I was towing or not, whether it was predominantly on bitumen, whether it was all off-road, all of those things. Answered all their questions, and at the end of the day what I wanted for was to be able to travel on bitumen and get better economy. My economy was pretty ordinary when I was fully loaded on bitumen, and get a little bit more power for being able to tow my little boat behind the camper setup that I have. It's only a small tinny, it's 3.99 tinny, so it's not a lot of weight that I'll be towing, but I will be towing as well as the 3.5 tonne that I carry around normally when I'm fully loaded. The quote from Roo Systems Australia was a straight up quote. This isn't a sponsored video. The only thing that they were happy for me to do was film anything I wanted to film, which I did. The first thing they did when the car arrived was to put it on the dyno and test it to see what it was putting out initially. Then it went to the hoist, and from the hoist, old exhaust come off and the new exhaust goes on. So the old exhaust comes off from the rear of the DPF, and it's all taken off. The new exhaust goes on from the DPF. So between the exhaust and the DPF remain the same. The new exhaust system going on is a 3.5-inch exhaust system, and that goes right through to the rear of the car using exactly the same mounts that held the old exhaust system in. One thing I'll say about the new exhaust system is that it didn't change the tone of the vehicle at all. I was hoping for a little bit more grunt, as everybody does, but it didn't happen. My car doesn't sound any different now with the new exhaust system that it did with the old exhaust system. We did have one issue with the new exhaust system, is that because of its size, 3.5 inches as opposed to 2.5 inches, the old one that came off, the spare tyre that's underneath the car needed to be pushed over about an inch and retightened, so there was enough room for that exhaust system to sit. So with a bit of clearance between the shocky boot and the spare tyre, so there's not a lot of gap between there, but it's right at the end of the exhaust system, so a lot of the heat's gone out of it. They're still hot, I know that, but it does have enough clearance now between the boot and the exhaust for me not to be too worried about it. Now the full exhaust system's fitted, it's all tightened up, comes down on the hoist, and we take it back over to the dyno tune. It was interesting watching it on the dyno tune. I won't play lots of that for it. It was very, very loud. But once it all calmed down and we had the new stats, we compared the old stats with the new stats.
So this dotted line here to torque, so you can see that spot there, we picked up 144 newton meters.
Yep.
So I went from 496 to 640. And then obviously these two lines here are your power. So you can see between that point there and that point there, you went from 112 horsepower to 152 horsepower. So through the low and mid range, you can see how much more you've got just everywhere. So it's just, they're so much better to drive with the tune in them.
Yeah.
When it's towing, you got weight on the back, anything, they're just insanely better with the tune. That's really it. I mean, you picked up a tiny bit more on the top end. Otherwise, you picked up another couple of horsepower, but low and mid's where you feel it. That's what gets you up and going. You've got load on it.
Something else I noticed with power, lots more power. It really does feel different. So I really do feel like it's got grunt now. The turbo lag's gone. That's another great thing. When I was pulling out into traffic before, seemed like you waited an eternity for the motor to get going once you started to put your foot down the accelerator. So that's disappeared. No more turbo lag, lots of extra power. On completing, the last thing to do was take for a test run and see what sort of economy I was getting now as opposed to before, and I was very, very surprised to see that my economy had gone from when the vehicle was without the camper, so just 2.2 tonne, it's gone from 10.5 litres per 100 down to 7.6 litres per 100. Now, 7.6 is probably, because I was being so light on the throttle, under normal throttle, probably an extra 2 or 3, 0.2 or 3, so let's say 7.8 or 7.9, but it actually got back after 187 kilometres, and at 187 kilometres, it finished with 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres, and I was pretty impressed with that. That's better than 2.5 litres per 100, better than my old economy. So very happy with that. I still haven't tried it out on the pulling the camper and the boat, but we will get to that. That's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel, Patreon link in the description below. Hit that. Follow the bouncing ball. Shout me a coffee. Till the next one, take care.